you have to play this game by the rules, manipulate the rules, and pull that person into your game.
Yeah.
And over the last, year or two, there hasn't been anybody that's done that better than really two gyms, East Side
Yeah.
and Hard Knocks. And now we're building from youth all the way up. And now it's like I said on my video, the world was literally watching. Like we had streams from all over the world where clearly directors of those countries, organizations were like, who do we need to be worried about? They had this boxing machine, this boxing, that
Yeah.
jump they
Yeah.
got in the bar.
Yeah.
And the kids are hitting it. There's a bunch of adult athletes that are hitting it. And I'm standing there talking to the guy from the Army. And the dude was like, yo, why don't you hit it? I was like, no, nah, I'm not going to hit it. I wish they could have seen me.
Yeah.
Set the high score for 3 days.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Is that why you're back?
what they didn't know is that yeah, I blew out my left shoulder with doing it, but I just had to hit it one time and walk away.
Yeah.
That was it. I had
Yeah.
to set the kids. They're all like just watching me walk away. I was like, you think about that, young man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think
You
about
act like,
that.
yeah.
Old bird still got it every once in a
That's
while. I
right.
won't feel it tomorrow, but
Yeah.
look at that score.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate you giving me your time. We had a crazy week this week. I had just a lot of stupid shit going on, and even today, I obviously normally I'd shoot this from the gym, but I had to stay home this morning. So, and then the laptop, I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know if it just won't fire up. So yeah, we're on the iPad. We're just making it work today. You know what I mean?
Russians.
It gotta be, man. It's gotta be. But obviously the main thing, we just wanted to hop on here and recap the tournament just because it went so awesome. It was cool. I got to sit down with Corley and Vinny and get their point of view. So that was the main thing I wanted to have you back on for, just to kind of get your point of view, because you're a huge part of why it ran so smooth. So let's talk about it, brother. Yeah. So, like Ian, going back to, I was telling Corley, like your volunteers, man, you had a crack team, and tell me a little bit about them.
Man, I think about 14 or 15 people from my gym, and then uh, uh, 2 or 3 people from Joe Stripling's gym, Choke D.
Mm.
And the hardest part, like volunteers, is really tough because each tournament's always different, and you don't know. Number one, you don't know where like things are going to be,
Yeah.
what responsibilities, who's going to fill that role appropriately. So what I do with the tournament is I start soliciting volunteers a couple of weeks out, even 2 months out, and then I get them excited about what it is, the prestige of this tournament, the level of matches that there are, and then the international implications. So it gets them excited to be a part of this. And it's not them just like trading their time for nothing.
Right.
And then I usually do calls. I do a couple different calls with the volunteers, and sort of figure out who would be good for what role. We
Yeah.
have like tickets. We have people that need to do gear. We have bout runners, which is a really high paced job.
Yes.
And merch table and stuff like that. So I figured out early on like who would be good in what roles, and we put them there. And dude, the girls that were running the merch table, they actually came back at the end of the day, and they were like, "Hey, we totally redid the system and the process in which we do gear." And
Yeah.
it was amazing. I mean, they literally at the end of the tournament, they came to me and they had, here's the gear that we have. Here's the gear that we think this organization needs moving forward that would make this process a little bit easier.
Oh wow.
And here are the means in which we distributed and recollected the gear. And they rewrote the whole system.
Holy
I mean,
shit.
it was like volunteers. And they were like, by the way, they were like 20-year-old girls.
Yeah.
They absolutely killed it. And then yeah, the volunteers were just awesome, man. I mean, they really are what give us as the organizers the ability to move around and make sure that this thing is like running properly. So we're not doing the minutia. We're sort of overseeing, which is like really what as owners of businesses we should be doing, right? We shouldn't
Right.
be the ones that are in the day-to-day operations. You can be, but you can't be
Yeah.
distracted by it, because then you don't see the overarching scope of what it is that we're trying to do. So man, these volunteers were just Literally, I've never gotten comments on volunteers at a tournament before.
Yeah.
Overwhelming response from people.
Yeah, no, they were incredible. I kept, you know, I try to always encourage people that are doing like the tough jobs, because I know how easy it is to kind of get overlooked when you're like counting on people to do stuff. Like, I've always had this thing, like there's only two kinds of people in the world. You're either inconsiderate or you're considerate, you know? I absolutely can't stand inconsiderate people. And I feel like, you know, without realizing it, sometimes in a situation like that where you're stressed and you got to get your fighter ready and this and that, and you're like, you might be shitty to somebody that's just volunteering for free to hand you gear, and they don't, you know what I mean?
Right.
But again, and then people be like, oh, you know, I'm like, yeah, but you're you know, you just got to consider a little bit like how, you know, what they're, you know, dealing with and stuff like that. But anyways,
Look,
yeah,
I have
they
that
were
approach
amazing.
with everything that we do, especially service workers, you know, people
Mhm.
that are in the service industry. Like if I'm out to dinner with you and we're doing some type of business deal and I see that you're incredibly inconsiderate to our service, deal's done, man. Those people they're hustling for a low wage, long hours, and now you're gonna be rude to them? Come on, man. They're serving
Yeah,
you food,
yeah,
they're making the beds at the hotels, they're sweeping the floors. Like those are the people that all due respect to for sure. And then consider this at tournaments, those people aren't getting paid anything.
right,
You know,
yeah,
there's nothing in it for them other than, you know, helping us out because we
yeah.
asked.
Yeah. No, they killed it. I kept telling them all weekend. I was like, "You guys are undefeated," because they, you know,
They
they're
are.
giving the licenses back. I'm like, "You haven't lost anything yet. You're undefeated."
They are.
Yeah, it was funny, man. It was good. It was good. They all were really awesome. So now that the dust is settled, it's been like a week out. How do you feel everything went overall?
Man, when you the leading up to it, you know, as an organization, we have a lot of meetings leading up to this stuff, and there's a lot of moving parts. And you know, it's like it's 32 weeks out, and then all of a sudden, we don't know what happens at that time, and it's like, hey guys,
Yeah.
next week.
Yeah.
And you know, it's really overwhelming, especially when you're on, you know, like day one where they're setting the rings up, and there's a lot of stuff to manage. But considering what happened, you know, it was over 300 registered athletes.
Mhm.
Um, you know, I don't know how many guests were in and out of that place, but it was a lot and a
Yeah.
lot of matches per day. I mean, I think most days we had about 42 bouts every single day. And with the IFMA style, USA Muay Thai style of tournament that we do, we ripped through those matches really, really
Yeah.
quickly and efficiently. Um, so I just made a video that we posted on the USA Muay Thai Instagram page, and a comment that we got in multiple different conversations was that people felt this was the best, most efficient, and highest caliber tournament ever held in American history. And
Absolutely.
those are big words. Someone gets to say them, right?
Yeah.
Um, and it really was, man. It was really successful from you know, athletic standpoint, from a logistical standpoint, from a liability standpoint. It was
Yeah.
just it was fantastic, and there was a lot of people that I'd like to thank. I'm sure we will get to that at some point at this in this podcast that made that happen.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you're one of them, brother. So make sure you pat yourself on the back too, for sure. You know.
Just one.
Yeah. uh, I know, like with how crazy it was. There was a lot. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on. Are you able in that space at all to like stop for a second and see any of the fights and like be like, oh man, this is a good fight? Or are you just in work mode?
Yeah, listen, a big part of my role is like, you know, I'm really a firm believer in you're always a student, and never stop learning. And I have a lot of experience as a coach
Mm-hmm.
different organizations and fight nights and tournaments and international tournaments, but I don't have a lot of face time with the IFMA style. And
Yeah.
the rules are different, the culture is different. Like, let me give you one example is, you know, in Thai boxing, it's really common for athletes to jump over the top rope. You're not allowed to do
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to go through the middle two ropes. But when you go through the middle two ropes, your rear end must face away from the jury.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that I'm watching, that I'm absorbing, that I'm learning. So yeah, like a lot of the times when I was watching the matches in this at this tournament, I was watching the referee.
Mm.
So, it's an art in itself. And as coaches, we almost never watch what the refs do. And
Yeah.
sometimes the ref sort of disappears from our purview because you're watching the athletes. And I was really, really absorbing a lot of what the referees were doing. Something that I want to do is one of Tanong's referee courses. I just couldn't do it this time, but
Yeah.
uh,
Neither. It's
then there was just some matches that were just like super exciting that I had to
yeah.
watch. But yeah, I was sort of in, field of play, moving around, and sort of trying to. If you watch Michael Corley during any of these tournaments, he's really like he's at the helm, but his hands really aren't on it,
Yeah.
and he's making sure that everything's going well. And I also really liked watching him,
Yeah.
the way that he's intently watching the judging, the refereeing. I mean, he's at a 30,000 foot view when he's at these tournaments. He does not have a singular point of focus. I'm not really there yet because I don't have his experience with that. I mean, the guy is a wealth of information, and
Absolutely.
not only on the sport of Thai boxing, but also the logistics that go into running an organization like this at the highest level.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was observing a lot. I
Yeah.
was running back and forth between the merch table and
Yeah.
the vendors, and everybody that was there. You had a conversation with me. It was like, hey, how's everything going? Is there anything that you need from me?
Yeah.
Um, which I probably shouldn't have said a couple of times because it led
Yeah.
to me running around doing stuff. But that's just who I am.
Yeah.
To being able to like sit down and watch what it is that we're doing was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Any fights stand out?
Man, I really liked watching TK. Like
Yeah.
she's just like, and almost anyone from Hard Knocks, just the style of pressure that they have,
Yeah.
the way that they play the game, right?
Yeah.
Like, really, listen, and I always used to teach this to my athletes too. There's two ways that you can win,
Mm.
right? Three, maybe. Right? They throw the towel in. There's a fourth.
Yeah.
But you get into the ring and you knock the person out. Okay, great. You won the match. Or you have to play this game by the rules, manipulate the rules, and pull that person into your game.
Yeah.
And over the last year or two, there hasn't been anybody that's done that better than really two gyms, East Side
Yeah.
and Hard Knocks. So I really, really liked watching a lot of their fighters. I was incredibly disappointed to not see two athletes go, which was Nick Rossi and
Aaron.
Aaron Ortiz.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
my volunteers were there, and they're people that have been training with me for like a year, some two.
Yeah.
So they're new to this, and they were devastated that they're like, "Wait, the plague's not going in today." I'm like,
Yeah.
the fact that you guys are saying that is just so awesome.
Yeah.
So I was really disappointed. I'm sure not as much as they were to not actually
Yeah.
hop into that ring, but
Get some rounds. Yeah.
yeah, to get some rounds in. And Aaron was warmed up, like he was ready to go. I think Nick knew um, he may have not have had a match, but Aaron was greased up and warmed up, ready to go before he found
Yeah.
out that his opponent was sick.
Damn.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Hard Knocks and East Side, man, I really, really love watching those guys. And of course you guys. I mean, anytime you guys get in the ring, there's always going to be some action. You
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
play those games really, really well, and clearly walked away. I mean, you guys were in the top 5 gyms.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
It's still surreal. I'm like, yeah, it's you hope you'll get the results. I knew going in we had nothing but tough fights. My both of my kids, like my kid Siraj fought one of the Zelenskis who has like 70 fights. My kid has 7, and then my other kid Ian has like 7 or 8 fights also, and fought Landon Cahill from East Side. So it's like, but that's I think that's one of the differences between me and some of the other gyms that aren't at this tournament. I think it didn't used to be like this, and I feel like I'm glad I came up in the era that I came up in. But I feel like there are unfortunately a lot of more gyms that'll look at a bracket and be like, I don't know about that one. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
Yeah, listen, especially when you're going against, one of the Zelensky kids. I mean,
yeah,
you guys have, in terms of juniors, I mean, Tierra maybe is probably the one that has the most international experience from USA. But the Zelenskys, I mean, those kids have been fighting internationally for quite some time, and
yeah,
the amount of fights and matches that they've racked up.
mm,
And when you're going across the ocean and you're fighting kids from Ukraine and Russia
yeah,
and Azerbaijan, like that's a tough thing, and a lot of coaches would rightfully so be like, nah, we're
yeah,
not doing that. But
yeah, yeah.
how'd it go?
Yeah, I mean they fought great. They came up short in the decisions, but they
Made it three
fought
rounds with
the
Zelensky.
and my me like my thing is like I want our people fighting at the highest levels. We have our little tagline, boss fights only. Uh I think people get caught up in wanting to get the tracksuit and be on Team USA and like not really don't really think about the actual level of competition that you're gonna face when you get there. So like if you're concerned about fighting the kids that have the spot from the US, like you're not ready anyway. You know what I mean? So and we don't know I don't know where we are until we take those fights. So we take those fights. You know what I mean?
Well, listen, you make Team USA for USA Muay Thai. You're going to IFMA,
Yep.
and IFMA internationally is a much different animal than almost anything else because you look at those big countries. Russia has ruled. Ukraine has incredible talent. And then those Eastern Bloc countries, I mean, they're sending their best of the best to IFMA.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they're going. And when you go overseas, hands down, you're fighting the best fighters that are currently active in the world today when
Yep.
you're on Team USA. And getting through the bracket for Grand Nationals is one challenge,
Yeah.
right? Like you didn't make it, you got your foot in the door, and
Yep.
now that's step one. That's test number one. Test number two is getting there to IFMA and competing against the absolute best in the world, which is you walk away. Someone said this in one of the interviews that I did, and they said, listen, if I win a gold medal at IFMA, I can confidently say, without regard, that I'm the best in the world.
Absolutely.
And that's true for sure.
Yeah.
And that's been true for some time.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. No, I've been we got there with Aaron back in 2017 and then I've basically had to rebuild my team completely since COVID. So, but like once you get there once, you're just like, I got to get back. We got to get back. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
That was in Belarus, right?
yeah, Belarus. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So, which was cool. That's one of the other cool things about this stuff is you end up going to some places that you might not have ever gone. Like obviously, I don't think I've ever would have been like, man, let's go to Belarus.
Yeah.
But I loved it. Like that was like it's actually one of my favorite places I've ever visited.
Really nice.
All the fun. It had weather just like Maryland. Like we were in shorts and t-shirts one day. It snowed the next day. I was like, everyone was freaking out. I was like, man, this is like home.
This is home, right? It's for us, East Coast.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I really loved Belarus and it's probably something where we'll never be able to go again, obviously.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And this year
yeah,
we got the senior worlds in Turkey.
yeah. I've been wanting to go to Turkey, so I'm super excited for that,
Yeah, I was there years and years ago in Istanbul, and it's a really unique spot,
Yeah.
and the culture, the food is amazing. Now, listen, when you go with IFMA and you're going with Team USA, like the goal is we're there for this thing.
Yeah.
And, if you want to stay, it's a long trip.
Yeah.
You got to be there for almost 2 weeks at a clip or close to it.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you want to go see Turkey? Like, tack it on to the end. Go to Cappadocia, go to Istanbul. There's a town in a city in Turkey called Batman. You want to go to Batman? Go check it out.
Yeah.
But in large part, like, we'll have a meeting with all of the athletes that make the senior team because that's going to be the first trip that we do. And then the juniors are going to be in September. But it's like, hey, look, we're here for business. This is work.
Mm-hmm.
For 10 days or 12 days, whatever it is that we're going to be doing is going to be a singular focus on this tournament.
Yeah.
You want to go see Turkey? awesome. You can go
Yeah.
when a tournament's over.
Yep.
Now it's like effectively we're on the clock. And I think that's a huge mental shift for our athletes. You know,
Yeah.
that's what makes us, that's what's really leveled up. Hey, gotcha. That's what really gotten us to the level that USA Muay Thai is. Because quite frankly, you go into like the early teens, early, 2010s, 20 teens, America would roll up to IFMA. And it was like, I don't know if you remember this. Remember that movie Cool Runnings?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Do you remember when the Jamaican bobsled team rolls up, and I think it was the Germans or the Swiss, and they're like laughing at them?
Yeah.
Like that's what it used to be, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And now it's vastly different,
Yeah.
vastly different. And it's not to say that there weren't good athletes on the team at that time.
No,
We
some
just
of the
didn't have
best.
the
Yeah.
depth.
Yeah.
We didn't have the depth. We didn't have the international experience. We didn't have the rule set experience. And now we're building from youth all the way up. And now it's like I said on my video, the world was literally watching. Like we had streams from all over the world where clearly directors of those countries, organizations were like, who do we need to be worried about?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all, and it goes back to the tournament being started, in my opinion, a lot, because people are more familiarized with the rule set. They're more familiarized with the weigh-ins. They're more familiarized with just the 3 minutes, for even some of the high-level amateurs only fighting 2-minute fights, stuff like that. So I think that clearly has helped out a lot, and so it's exciting to see the progress every year of the US team, for sure.
Yeah, it's neat, man. And there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And as with any event that happens, that work is a year process. It's like we have this parade in Philly every New Year's. It's called the Mummers Parade. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it, but
Mm-mm.
they get in the streets and they dance. They make these gigantic. It's almost like carnival
Yeah.
in South America, but it happens on New Year's Day. And there's like these big elaborate costumes, and there's different teams,
Yeah.
different schools, if you will, and they go down the streets of Philly and they're dancing and spinning. There's music. They start planning the mummers for January 1st on January 2nd.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like a whole year of like building and choreography and getting all
Yeah.
that stuff together. And it's the same is true with a tournament like this, where it's like, establishing the venue. And there's so much that happens with, getting doctors and EMTs. And, the team that we have is small, but it's, man, like, Corley and Vinny, like everyone knows that this tournament would not run without Mama Des.
Yes.
She could just walk into the room and you're like, oh, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mom Des is here. She knows every aspect. She's there on her own dime and her
Yep.
own time. And she commands so much respect, doesn't demand it, but commands it from everyone. The adults, the athletes, the coaches, parents, kids, and the way that she seamlessly runs all of these different things. Like we didn't have runners for bout runners. We typically have two runners, one for each ring. And she just did both rings.
Yeah.
She's smiling and she's calling everybody baby and she's running
Yeah.
around. And she's like, the woman does not skip a beat. Marcy, Deidre running stuff for the hotel. I mean, it's just been endless with the amount of volunteers that we have. Jeff Dohilio. I mean, how freaking cool is it that we get a guy like Jeff Dohilio to come in and like take pictures of this tournament and run all of our graphic design stuff. I mean, the guy's really in our space is legendary. I mean,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
an artist, as a figurehead, and then when you get to know Jeff, like he's even way cooler than you
Yeah.
want him to be. But Jeff does all of our merch design and stuff, and it's just like literally, it's like some fresh stuff. It's super super fly.
Yeah.
And then the guy behind the scenes is Mr. Vinny running all the stuff on Web Point and running bouts and making sure that the brackets are good. And no one knows how to do what Vinny does.
Yeah.
Hope at some point he teaches me how to do it, or teaches.
Yeah.
Would be better if he just teaches somebody else how to do it.
Yeah.
But it's just, man, the team that we have is really really remarkable. And when I hopped onto this organization, it was 2022 or 2023. I'm not sure. It was a Colorado event, And the only reason I stayed was because of that.
Yeah.
They're wonderful people. They have such a vision for what this thing is going to be, and they built it into what it is, with nothing, man. Like
Yeah.
really very little funding. A lot of the times when stuff happens in USA Muay Thai, it's done on with their personal money.
Hmm.
They sacrifice their time, they sacrifice their health, they sacrifice their families, and it's apparent that this organization is what it is because of those people, because of Corley, Dez, Vinny, Marcy, like
Hmm.
Jeff. There's very few people that can do what they did, man. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I've been doing it for a while now too.
They have been, dude.
And it's obviously, obviously just keeps on getting better. If for people that were watching like online at home, is there anything that you like, man, I wish you could have been here in person to see?
You know what? Like the camaraderie
Hmm.
was really neat. I've been to other tournaments, and I don't know if it's just maybe it was a condition of the venue. Maybe it's a condition of like we're all wearing the same jersey with the same letters on it. But
Yeah.
almost every time that I was ever at like a fight night, there's a lot of camaraderie between coaches, right? Like we're
Hmm.
all friends.
Yeah.
I don't know if you and I have ever been across the ring from one another, but like I've been across,
Yeah.
I'm sure we have. I just don't remember.
Yeah.
Across the ring from some of my friends, and our athletes are going at it and they're beating the snot out of each other. And they're like mean mugging one another, and we're like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But at this tournament, there was a shift in the interaction between athletes.
Mhm.
And it was like, they're going up to one another before the matches. It wasn't adversarial. If you guys notice, we don't call them fights, we call them matches.
Yeah.
We don't call them fighters, we call them athletes. And I think there was a really big like switch on dogma that got turned off when you came
Mhm.
to this thing, because we're all wearing USA. Maybe it's this patriotic emotion. Maybe it was, I don't know what it was, but I wish that the people that were watching the matches could have seen that. Like
Yeah.
the love, the respect, the decorum, and the friendship that the athletes had, not only after the matches, because we know that that happens all the time.
Yeah.
You go
Right.
to war with somebody and you're smashing each other in the face and kicking each other in the leg. The first person you want to hug is that person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was happening before the matches, and it was really, really neat, man. Really, just I can't explain it, but it was special.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's definitely you can definitely feel the difference. I think also like from a coach's perspective, it's literally all the best gyms in the US. It's all the people that I know I respect and uh at least appeared to have had the same respect for me as well too. And you're in for a hard fight. I just feel like that, yeah, there wasn't really anybody there that I could think of that I'm like, man, I can't stand that fucking guy. So
And
yeah,
no, it's not.
awesome. Yeah.
Oh, there is one more thing. The United States Army was one of our main sponsors, which is
Yeah.
like, how freaking cool is that?
Insane. Yeah.
But they had this boxing machine, that
Yeah.
junk they
Yeah.
got in the bar,
Yeah.
and the kids are hitting it. There's a bunch of adult athletes that are hitting it, and I'm standing there talking to the guy from the Army, and the dude was like, "Yo, why don't you hit it?" I was like, "No, I'm not gonna hit it." I wish they could have seen me.
Yeah.
Set the high score for 3 days.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Is that why you're back?
what they didn't know is that yeah, I blew out my left shoulder with doing it, but I just had to hit it one time and walk away.
Yeah.
That was it. I had
Yeah.
to set the kids. They're all like just watching me walk away. I was like, you think about that, young man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think
You act
about that.
yeah.
Old bird still got it every once in a
That's
while. I
right.
won't feel it tomorrow, but
Yeah.
look at that score.
Yeah. That's gangster. Yeah, that's awesome. That's super awesome. Yeah, tell me about the sponsors real quick. I know we had a
Yeah,
couple
man. So
awesome.
we had, I have a company that I use, or that I own with my business partner Sam. It's called the Muay Thai Advisory Group.
Hmm.
It's a bit of a side hustle, a passion, a love that we do, where we help, in particular Muay Thai Academy owners really just level up their business practices,
Yeah.
teach them how to do every aspect of their business so that you can actually wear that badge as an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurialism is being able to not outsource the stuff in your business, but to be able to do it yourself, like marketing, lead management, hiring and training staff. One thing that we don't do is teach you how to teach classes. Like I
Yeah.
go to a tournament like this and I see like Drew Bill and you and all these guys that have accolades. I'm like, whatever you're doing is working on the mat.
Yeah.
But then all of the other stuff, the surrounding things, is something that Sam and I have gotten really good at, that we like to share with people. The other one that we had was Athlon Rub. It's
Hmm.
Anthony from Athlon Rub.
Yep.
And actually, also one that I missed on the video was the YMCA. The YMCA was a big sponsor of ours. They open up the doors to the local YMCA for the saunas and their facilities for our
Yeah.
athletes to cut their weight, which I think a lot of people use.
Yeah.
The United States Army obviously was really freaking cool. I mean, I have a family history with the Army. My grandfather was in World War II. He served in the 66th Field Artillery Unit in the 4th
Oh,
Army Division in the Army. So it was cool having the United States Army be a sponsor of ours. And then obviously Combat Corner. I mean,
yeah.
guys they're our family, man.
Yeah.
The media that and Dan LaSavage was there, like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
founder
Okay. Yeah.
of Combat Corner. I mean, people were going up to and realizing that they were talking to him, and they're like, "Oh, whoa!"
Yeah.
Down to earth guys, and Chris from Combat Corner. Those guys always bring it every year for us. The quality of gear that they have, the quality of service that they have is unmatched in the industry. Um, Someone brought a bag that they had bought on Combat Corner, and it was busted.
Yeah.
And it was like, "Here's a coupon code. The new bags aren't in, but they're going to be in 2 weeks." And he zeroed it out and gave the guy a new bag. I mean, amazing service. And they do so much for USA Muay Thai. You can
Yeah.
actually buy our merch on Combat Corner's website. So I mean, I wish there were different words other than thank you to
Yeah.
Combat Corner, but those guys, we can't do it without them.
Yeah. No, and they had a fly booth, man. I took some pictures.
Always do.
Yeah, it was sick. They
Always
had
do.
cool, like the setup and everything, and the place to take pictures, and always
Yeah.
have awesome.
The other one I want to give a shout out to is Chase on the Riverfront, the venue. So they had done a huge renovation to that space. I went into this, so I sort of locked that space down, and I had been visiting it a couple of times over the last year. And the last time I went in there was about 2 weeks before the tournament, and it wasn't finished. And I was like, "Hey guys, like,
Yeah.
please don't make me get sick over here."
Yeah.
He wrapped it up, man. And like, I don't know if you saw, like when you walked in, they had like the red, white, and blue LEDs.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I walked in, and then after the ring was set up, I was like, this is just. And what I wanted to do, and I did, is like, I sat at that front door because I wanted to see the athletes and coaches' faces when they walked into that venue.
Yeah.
And it was priceless. Like, I should have gotten video of it, but like people walking in and they're just kind of getting ready, and they're just like,
Yeah.
they're gonna let us do this in this room.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were great. Like Julie and Michelle from Chasing the Riverfront, they absolutely delivered hand over fist.
Yeah. No, it was beautiful. I mean, it stands out in all the photos and videos and everything else too. Like just the way you compose your shots, the ceiling and everything, the lights, everything. Yeah.
The
Again,
belts, bro.
another one of those ingredients that made this thing such an awesome tournament.
Did you see that belt table too, with like the
Yeah.
shot that Jeff got with all the belts, the two
Yeah.
ranks, and then like that big dome ceiling? I mean, it looked like the damn Olympics, dude. It was
Yeah.
spectacular.
Absolutely.
Spectacular. Really, really good venue.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you feel about the team that's going to IFMA?
Well, so we're in the preliminary stages. So the process is, if you win your division in the elite division, that qualifies you for the team.
Yeah.
And then we send out formal invitation letters
Yeah.
to you, and then people have to accept. But the talent that we send invitations to is, I mean, it's going to be one of the best teams in U.S. history.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, the pressures of travel, the pressures of cutting weight, the pressures of fighting internationally are real. But there's a very, very real chance that we make the biggest mark that we've ever made in a senior tournament in history with this team.
Yeah, I agree. There's some killers that have been there, and in both the youth and the adult. It was cool to see the youth, you could tell that the youth team that went last year were all always together throughout the tournament. Anytime one of them fought, that you could see the little group,
Yeah.
and they were cheering each other on. So I talked about that with Corley a little bit. Like, that's so cool to see. Like, those kids are gonna grow up just being
Like, we'll be friends forever, bro.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I asked one of the little kids that's going on a team. He's from Danny Brandt's gym, Georgie.
yeah.
He's a
A
character,
big
man. Like,
standout. Yeah,
this kid's going places for
yeah,
sure. He's got
yeah,
such charisma. He's got such swag. He's so respectful, and he's a beast when he goes into those ropes.
yeah,
I asked him, I said, "Hey, George, you got some eyes on you from around the world. Like, these kids are watching you.
yeah.
From different countries. You're going to IFMA. Like, what do you want to tell him?" And he has his belt on his shoulder, and he smacks his belt. How old's this kid? How old's Georgie? 12,
Yeah.
13? Smacks his belt, and he goes, "Come get it," and then just walks off camera. And I'm like, not
Yeah.
only not
Oh,
only do we got an athlete, we got an entertainer too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What you need, man. We need these days,
Yeah,
like
they
that's
are, man. But they're forging some friendships that are going to last forever and ever. I mean, I was at WKA in 2012 or 2013, and like, I still have friends from that event, man.
yeah, yeah,
Just, coaches and athletes together, internationally. It's just, it leaves a mark on your life, man. And this one is the biggest in the world.
yeah,
And holy smokes, man. I'm excited to watch these folks live that event.
yeah. No, me too, man. I'm pumped to finally get back there, and I'm excited to work with all the coaches that are going and all the athletes that are going, stuff like that. So
Yeah, man.
it's gonna be a good one for sure. So next step now for you guys is obviously to get the invitations out. Like, when do you start kind of working on next year's Grand Nationals? Like, are you guys
Well, sort of,
firmers
it's in,
firmers the day after?
yeah, it's the mummers, son.
Mummers, yeah,
It's always in the periphery.
yeah,
A big focus of this organization now is senior worlds.
right.
And then we have the World Games in August,
Oh
which is
yeah,
absolutely enormous.
yeah,
It's in Chengdu, China this year.
yeah,
Um, I don't know if you guys remember, but World Games in 22, I believe,
yeah,
was held in Birmingham, Alabama. Now, the World Games is every major sport in the world, I believe. Or I could be wrong, but there's figure skating there, there's wrestling there, there's like
yeah,
everything's there. And USA Muay Thai got team of the World Games. Like,
yeah,
they got the award for the best team. I mean, the crowd was there, the athletes, the matches were just so exciting, which was absolutely huge. So that's in August in China, and then in September we have the youth IFMA World Championships, which is going to be in Abu Dhabi
yeah,
in United Arab Emirates. So a lot of stuff going on, a lot of logistics. We just ordered the new Jeff Dohio designed Team USA tracksuits. Where do you see these things? Holy
nice.
smokes, dude!
Yeah.
Like, we're in the group chat with all the C-level guys, and they're like, "I need one. Can I have
Yeah,
one? How much
yeah,
are those?" So, like, the uniforms are ready, the optics are there. The logo, it's our identity.
yeah.
It's the USA. It has the American flag on it, and we just need to get the athletes solidified and wrapped up, and we're heading in May, man, to
Yeah.
Turkey.
Yes, sir. Anything else? Anything else you want to say about the tournament? Anybody you want to thank? Anything like that?
Man, just, like I said, Corley, Vinny, Mamadez, Marcy, Deidre from USA Muay Thai has been an enormous help. Jeff and all of his help, the folks from our board, in particular, Paul, we have an amazing board that really helps us out. The venue was amazing, but most importantly, like, this tournament wouldn't happen without you guys,
Yeah.
without the coaches, the teams. I do know the strain that it takes on coaches to
Mhm.
do something like this. One thing athletes don't understand is, as a coach, we harbor and weight your anxiety and your nervousness and your uncertainty. And when you're cutting weight, we feel it. When you're running, we feel it. When you're in the ring, we feel it. And the pressure that the coaches are under, whether they admit it or not, is insurmountable.
Mhm.
Couple that with the fact that they're walking away from their businesses for a week. Couple that with the fact that they're walking away from their families for a week. The financial strain that puts on you folks. None of that is lost on me as a former coach myself. I retired from coaching in 2024 in October. I lived that life for a very, very long time, and I understand what that does to folks. So as for the coaches, the husbands, the mothers, the business owners, guys, thank you so much. I mean, it's incredible what you do. The athletes, for you guys, for getting ready for this, for stepping up to be on Team USA to compete against the best in the country, for a spot to compete against the best in the world. This is not a hobby. The people that were here in our elite divisions are not hobbyists.
Yeah.
People that are lifers. These are people that are going to be the best fighters in the world. And it takes a lot of sacrifice to do that too. I know what you sacrifice to do that. And then the families, especially like the families of the youth athletes. Like, one of the moms made a really great video. I don't know if you guys saw it, but the kid had his belt on his shoulder, and the mom rips the belt off the kid's shoulder and pushes the kid out of the frame. And she's like, "I'd like to thank myself for driving you back to practice twice a day, for sacrificing my social life with my friends so that you can," Parents give up a great deal for their children to do something like this as well.
Yeah.
These trips are not cheap. For USA Muay Thai, these trips are not cheap for IFMA.
Yeah.
And the amount of sacrifice that parents take on to do that for their children is remarkable as well. So all of you guys, none of this happens without the athletes, the coaches, the support staff at their gyms, the moms and dads. Like, man, thank you guys so much.
You're the man, brother. Well, thank you for everything you do, and it all paid off, man. You guys came together and literally put on one of the best tournaments I've ever been a part of. So I appreciate
it, bro. Yeah, thank you too, my man.
Oh yeah. All right. Thanks for your time, brother. We'll get this one up, man. Take care of yourself. Hope you're back feeling better, man.
Love you, pal.
All right, brother. Love you too, big dog.
Peace.